All right, the 5 marks are, you have a dot, a vertical line, a horizontal line, a diagonal line, and a curved line. With those 5 marks, depending on how you combine them, the quality of the line, you create a picture.
Hi, I'm Boris. I'm the gallerist here at Mills Gallery, and today I have a great honor of taunting the artist, Garbe Stint. How are you?
I'm very good, Boris. How are you?
I'm excited because I want to let the audience know something that's very special about us. When I first met you about 6 months ago, and you presented your art to us, I knew right away you were something different. You were something special. And I have not curated a show in over 5 years. And I decided I'm going to take a chance with it because I kind of gave it up. I let the other curators in this gallery do that, but I wanted to curate you because you are an amazing artist. And I also want to point out to the audience that you're not going to share all of your story because you are a private man and have asked people for the interview to not go there. But I implore you later on, as you climb the ladder of success, because you will, share your story. It's an important story, and I think it's very interesting. But let's start. Ivan, what kind of an artist would you describe yourself as?
Well, I'm working charcoal on paper primarily. I've done a piece on wood panel, and I'm realist, mainly portraits.
Before we really get into all that,
Okay.
and one of the things you and I did is we've been meeting every Tuesday, I think since July, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
And we talk for about two hours every time about art, about your life, because I wanted you to be comfortable with presenting yourself. One of the things that I find extremely interesting and important about you is that you were involved in the civil rights movement in Rochester, New York, in the late 60s, early 70s. I know you're very modest, but this is an important part of your story.
I was a community organizer for an organization called Action for a Better Community. We did a lot of voter registration, voter education, establishing food programs, advocating for parents who thought their kids were being mistreated in school, that sort of thing. This was up north, Rochester, yeah.
You know, it's interesting because I guess maybe this is ignorance on my part, but I always assumed there was less racism up north.
Maybe different racism up north, but racism is racism. It was less overt. There were no lynchings, but there was a lot of economic disparity, that sort of thing, limited access to education and housing, and based on race.
I've asked you this before. This is a question you seem to evade here, but don't you think that those experiences had to have an influence?
Of course they did. But I don't know how I would have been without the racism being there, evident. I don't know what kind of person I would have turned into. So I can't delineate the kinds of effects it had on my art. I only know that I was aware of it, and I've done what I can to.
Right now, we're seeing 2 images of your art. I don't want to give away too much because we only have 9 paintings. What is it that you want people to take away when they see your art?
The pride that I have in where I came from, who I am, and the people that surrounded me, the people I've grown to know, the resilience in Black folks, the nobility, the strength, that sort of thing. just love being black.
One of the things we do agree on, because in our conversations, we don't always agree on things. And I think that's because maybe it's two different communities coming together. Maybe it's age, I don't know. But one thing we do agree on is that just because you can buy the materials, whether it's canvas and paint and a brush, that doesn't make you an artist. And you and I agree.
Like you said, just picking up a paintbrush might make you a painter, but not an artist. I think an artist has to constantly pursue excellence. He has to learn all he can about the art he's trying to produce, where it came from, the structures, the things that have already been established, so you can become excellent at what you're trying to do, proficient, not just proficient, but exceptional in what you're trying to produce.
One of the things I always say is just because you can buy a car doesn't make you a driver. Just because you have the money to buy a plane doesn't make you a pilot. And just because you think you're an artist, I don't think that makes you an artist. And I think in today's society, that's a negative message, because apparently everybody is an artist today.
Art isn't something you can just fall into. Art, you don't just proclaim yourself to be an artist. You have to me, prove yourself to be an artist. That's what I'm working to do, to prove myself to be an artist. I'm trying to get better all the time.
You are an artist. And you are self-taught.
Yeah, well, I'm self-taught in the respect that I haven't taken courses. But, I learned from artists that I've studied, Charles White and John Biggers and Elizabeth Catlett. Yeah, black artists. And so I'm not self-taught. They're my teachers. I haven't sat in a classroom with them, but they've been my teachers.
They're your teachers in spirit.
Yes.
You told me about this thing that you read or found in your studies about the 5 marks on a piece of paper. And what we're going to see in a second is you're going to make 5 marks on a piece of paper.
Okay. If you pick up I deal in charcoal. If you pick up a stick of charcoal, there are only 5 distinct marks you can make on a sheet of paper. You can make a dot. You can make a vertical line, a horizontal line, a diagonal line, or a curved line. How you connect those marks, whether they're thick or thin or light or dark, how you arrange them on the sheet is what makes the art. But you have a limited palette to work with.
I've asked you in the past, please don't be offended, because I never liked jazz, but I realized now in hindsight, it was never explained. To me, jazz is kind of free-flowing, people just getting together and playing. At least that's, I think, what the movies taught me. I never sat down and talked to anybody about it. You and I have talked about that. I see the same problem in the artwork. When an artist cannot explain what they do to an audience, when an artist cannot even describe in an interview what does it mean to be an artist. And you and I have had some issues with that.
They enter the field same as artists, knowing full well that they're probably never going to make a lot of money, that it's going to be hard, that they're going to have to struggle about it deeply. They learn about it as much as they can. They dedicate themselves to it. And so the art is what is important in their lives. And that's what the connection I feel with jazz musicians is. Yeah, that you go into, if that's what you really want to do, you have to go into it knowing that you're going to have to sacrifice, and that a lot of people aren't going to appreciate what you do.
Well, I disagree with you, and I disagree with you bigly, as people would say, because this is actual business. Otherwise, you would just be a painter or somebody who draws at home for himself. But there's a business side, and there's too many of you. There's artists that are way better. But you have this opportunity to present yourself as the amazing, interesting person that you are. I believe people want to buy art from an interesting person. They want to be able to tell the story. I have an Ivan Smith. People say, I have a Picasso. They don't even know the name of but I own a Picasso. I own a Salvador Garbe. I own an Ivan Smith. There's too many of you now for the art to stand on its own. The parent, the artist, has to be as important, if not just a little bit more, because the game is changing, and like talked about this.
Okay, but the artist can't. That's not what concerns the artist. There's junk music, there's junk art, there's junk out there that people purchase because they've been sold a bill of goods. And okay, fine, that's the business. But what endures is the art, not the business. People forget that artist, made a lot of money. You listen to the music, you look at the art, you can appreciate art without knowing who the artist was. Does the music sound good? Does the drawing make you stop in your tracks when you pass it by? Is it appreciated by you and others, no matter who you are, no matter where you came from? Is it universal? That's what's important. It's not the business side of it. Is just that, the business side of it, but it's not the art.
Do you think that some of my teachings that I've introduced to you and some of the discussions may have discouraged you?
Discouraged me? No, either. No, I sort of knew what I was getting into anyway. I know the business side of it is there. I might be naive to some of it, but I know it's there. Maybe not. But I know it's there. But that's I'm not going to change my art to try to make it in the art business. I'm not going to change my art. I might change how I'm trying to present it. I might change how I approach galleries. That's what you're about. I'll make those changes, but I'm not going to change my art. I'm trying to make the best art I can make. No, you haven't. But I just think that the art, you say 5140, the person, yeah, 5149. I say 99. I say 99 to 1. The art is what's important.
Here's another thing you didn't agree with me on.
Okay.
I think you're a solution-oriented painter. In other words, you present your images, which are all Black people, you present it in a positive light. You kind of fought me on that a little bit too. Why?
Because I'm positively glad I'm a Black person. Okay, and we aren't what the media has made us. We are what we actually are. The media has not been truthful about how it presents whatever to the public. The media is trying to, that's the business side of it. I draw Black people the way I see them. I grew up with Black people, my family, everybody, I'm Black, and I can't hide that. I'm not trying to hide that. That's the art is what it is. It's honest. It's honest.
But this, and I think you do agree with me that in my community, the gay community, I have the same problem. I cringe when gay people are portrayed as the punchline of a joke, as the comedic element. We're obsessed with clothing and appearance. Where are the gay teachers, the gay presidents, the gay lawyers, the gay people that are just trying to live their life normal? And I think I've seen some of that in your community as well, that Black people aren't always present.
That's because a lot of time positivity doesn't sell. But it's there. The majority of people I know are positive, hardworking, have honest, have integrity, people that I've enjoyed knowing. I'm sure in your community that the majority of people that you know are just basically good people. And I find beauty in that. That is, normalcy. I find exceptional beauty in that, in normalcy.
And being flawed, this idea of you have to be perfect and everything has to be just right, that's not real.
There's no such thing as perfection. that's a, that's something that you try to approach, I guess. But again, it's trying to be excellent at what you do, knowing full well that you're never going to be perfect, because there's no such thing.
I haven't said this to you before. This is the first time you're going to hear this from me. I predict, if you want it, you will be a star, because your art is amazing. You're an interesting person. You're just not sure how to present and how much you want to present. But I want to assure you again, your story is interesting and it's important, and you have to share it. Ivan, I want to end our conversation with a tough question. And I've been kind of preparing myself to ask you this, because I've been wanting to ask you this during our other conversation. Do you think we can cure this illness of racism?
No, I don't. No, I think we can make it less effective, sort of diminish what it does to society. I think, we can educate people. I think racism is ignorance and fear. Can make people less ignorant and less fearful, then that will diminish the effects of racism, but it'll always be there. People are people. Some are good, some not. Do you think that homophobia can be cured or solved?
Well, I live in a state that has passed a law that allows doctors to openly discriminate against gay people. The schools are not permitted, teachers are not permitted to talk about being gay with students. Books are being taken out of libraries that mention gay characters. I would say probably not for I'm folk. And I don't want to end this interview on a sad note. Give me something positive.
Okay, genius and quality do not fear the passage of time. It means that if something is done well, done with integrity, done with honesty, that the goodness in it will last. It may, fall out of style. It may not be popular anymore, but it will always be as good as it was when it was created.
I just had an idea.
Okay.
You want to play along?
Sure.
If you could face all the racists in the world, what would you say to them?
What are you scared of? Grow up. There's a saying that those evil things like racism and hate, it's like drinking poison and wanting the other person to die. It hurts you more than it hurts me in the scheme of things. Grow up. Live life.
Enjoy it.
Exactly.
And learn from one another like you and I did.
Yeah.
My positive quote is, and I kind of live my life like this is not ad verbatim, but we're all in a lifeboat. We know how this is going to end. Let's be nice to each other and help each other.
Okay.
Here at Mel's Gallery, please do not miss this extraordinary exhibition with this extraordinary.
Thank you.